So, if there's one thing you carry forward from all of this, let it be this: you are not powerless, you are not small, you are a force in motion, shaped by knowledge, driven by dreams, tested by obstacles, and strengthened by the choice to rise again and again. You are your own rescue plan, your own spark, your own voice in a world that needs truth, not perfection. Stay hungry, but never lose your humility. Dream big, but work even bigger. And when your moment comes, when your heart is pounding and your voice shakes, speak anyway. Because that is the beginning of real change. The world may not always be ready for your power, but you must be. If this doesn't motivate you, nothing will. We are born into a world full of noise. Expectations, stereotypes, pressure, whether it's society telling you what you should be, or a system labeling you before you've even figured out who you are. And in the middle of all this, there is one tool, one quiet, undeniable power that nobody can take away from you: knowledge. It doesn't scream, it doesn't demand attention, but when you have it, it sets you free. Knowledge isn't just about textbooks, grades, or exams. It's not defined by the four walls of a classroom. It's deeper. It's the power to think critically, to ask questions, to challenge the world, and to shape your own identity. It gives you the ability to navigate life not as a passenger, but as the driver. The moment you choose to learn, whether it's through books, experiences, mentors, or failures, you begin to own your story. You stop depending on someone else to write your future. That's freedom. There's something incredibly powerful about walking into a room and knowing you've done the work. Not because someone told you to, but because you chose to. When you commit to learning, really learning, you develop a voice. And let me tell you, the world may try to shut that voice down, especially if it challenges the status quo. But if your voice is grounded in knowledge, it can't be silenced. You're not speaking just to be heard. You're speaking because you know. And that is undeniable. Too many people think freedom comes when you finally have money, or status, or recognition. But let me flip that for you. Freedom begins the moment you educate yourself enough to no longer depend on anyone's validation. The moment you realize you don't need someone to tell you you're worthy. You already are. You don't need permission to dream. You already can. Education, in all its forms, gives you the lens to see beyond the limits placed in front of you. It's easy to feel stuck when you're surrounded by systems that weren't built with you in mind. Maybe no one in your family has ever gone to college. Maybe you've been told you're too poor, too different, too average, too something to aim high. But here's the truth: knowledge doesn't discriminate. It's available to the ones who chase it. And the best part, it multiplies. Every time you invest in your own learning, you're not just helping yourself, you're opening doors for others too. You're building a ladder where there was once only a wall. I'm not saying the journey is easy. In fact, it might be the hardest thing you'll ever do. You'll have moments where you feel like giving up. You'll be misunderstood, underestimated, overlooked. But that's exactly when knowledge becomes your shield. When you know who you are and what you're capable of, no one can define you. Not a rejection letter, not a failed test, not a passing comment. So, because your worth isn't attached to any of that, it's anchored in what you know, in how you grow. And growth, it never ends. That's what's so powerful about choosing a life of learning. It doesn't stop when you graduate. It doesn't pause when you land a job. It's a mindset, not a milestone. It's reading beyond the syllabus. It's asking why when everyone else is just saying, okay. It's the courage to change your mind when you're presented with better information. That's not weakness. That's intelligence. That's freedom. Let's talk about confidence for a second. Real confidence isn't loud or arrogant. It's quiet. It's rooted. It comes from knowing you've equipped yourself with the tools to handle life's curveballs. It's walking into a room and knowing you belong there. Not because someone invited you, but because you earned it. And how do you earn it? With knowledge, with preparation, with effort. People might try to tell you confidence is about looks, charm, or charm. But the truth, it's about being prepared. It's about being informed. That's where the real glow up happens. And let's not forget, knowledge gives you options. When you know more, you can do more. You're not trapped in one path. You can pivot, reinvent, rebuild. If one door closes, you can design your own. You can walk into spaces your ancestors only dreamed of. You can represent, you can lead, you can inspire, you can become the example you wish you had. We live in a time where information is everywhere. Online courses, books, videos, mentors, communities. Yes, formal education matters, Yes, degrees open doors, but don't ever think your learning ends there. Be curious, be relentless. Learn about the world, about people, about yourself. Learn about money, relationships, culture, history, science, politics. Learn what they never taught you in school. Learn how to think for yourself. Because when you do, you don't just follow trends, you create them. You don't just take jobs, you build them. You don't just live, you lead. Now, I know someone out there is thinking, but what if I'm too late? What if I've wasted too much time? Let me be clear. It's never too late to choose yourself. Never too late to read that first book, to go back to school, to ask for help, to start again. Knowledge isn't about how fast you get it, it's about how deeply you live it. And if you're still breathing, you still have time to grow. The world might not always be fair, but the pursuit of knowledge, that's something no one can take from you. There is power in being educated, not just formally, but intentionally, emotionally, spiritually, culturally. When you know yourself, when you know your history, your rights, your worth, you become unstoppable. You stop playing small. You stop apologizing for taking up space. You start speaking with authority, acting with purpose, living with passion. And all of that begins with knowledge. So if you're waiting for a sign, this is it. Don't wait for the world to wake up and see your potential. Start by waking up to it yourself. Choose to learn every single day. Not because you have to, but because you can. Because it is the one thing they can never take from you. Because it is your freedom. At some point, you're going to fall flat on your face. That's not a warning. It's a promise. It doesn't matter how smart you are, how hard you work, or how perfectly you've planned everything. Life is going to throw something at you that you didn't see coming. A failure, a rejection, a betrayal, an unexpected twist that knocks the wind out of you. That's what obstacles do. They show up without asking for permission, and they rarely come with a warning label. But here's the part most people forget. Just because obstacles are inevitable doesn't mean defeat is. Growth is just as inevitable if you're willing to face the discomfort that comes with it. Every single person you admire, every story that inspires you, every legend you've heard of, they didn't get there by avoiding obstacles. They got there by growing through them. What made them extraordinary wasn't talent alone. It was the choice to rise every time they were knocked down. We live in a world that glorifies the finish line. We love the trophies, the titles, the glow-ups. But we don't talk enough about the mess in the middle, the part where things go wrong, where self-doubt creeps in, where nothing seems to be working. And yet, that's where the magic happens. That's the laboratory of growth. That's where character is built, where resilience is formed, where people either give up or dig deeper and find out what they're really made of. Growth doesn't happen in the comfort zone. It happens in the stretch, the place just beyond what feels easy. When something challenges you, frustrates you, even breaks your heart a little, it's offering you a gift. It's offering you a new level of understanding, strength, and perspective. But only if you stay in the fight. Only if you choose not to run from it. Most people treat obstacles like detours, as if life has gone off course. But what if they're not detours at all? What if they are the course? Let's be real for a second. Some obstacles are brutal. They're not just inconvenient, they're painful. Losing someone you love. Failing in front of people who doubted you. Working day and night and still falling short. These moments test you. They make you question everything. But they also give you a chance to decide. Do you want your life to be defined by what happened to you or by how you responded? Growth doesn't mean pretending everything is fine. It means sitting with the hard stuff long enough to learn from it. It means being honest with yourself. Maybe you didn't prepare enough. Maybe you made a bad call. Maybe life just hit you for no reason at all. Whatever it is, you still get to choose what comes next. You can stay down, or you can rise, wiser, stronger, and more intentional. Some of the greatest breakthroughs come right after the hardest set. You think you've lost everything, but what you've really lost is the version of you that was too afraid to evolve, and in its place. A version that's tougher, more focused, and more in control of their destiny. Obstacles strip away what's unnecessary. They force you to prioritize, to reevaluate, to adapt. They teach you that perfection is a myth, and that progress is the real goal. Growth isn't a straight line. It's messy. Sometimes it looks like trying again. Sometimes it looks like resting, recalibrating, or even walking away from something that no longer serves you. But the direction always points forward. And that forward motion, it's powered by every obstacle you've already overcome. You are proof that you can survive hard things. You are evidence of your own ability to evolve. It's easy to feel like you're falling behind when life gets hard. You see people online winning, glowing, achieving, while you're just trying to stay afloat. But remember, most growth doesn't go viral. It doesn't show up in a photo. It shows up in how you think, how you choose, how you respond. It shows up in the quiet moments. The morning you decide to try again. The night you forgive yourself. The second you take the first small step after a big fall. Don't let the presence of obstacles convince you that you're not on the right path. Sometimes the resistance is proof that you're pushing into new territory. Growth doesn't mean everything feels smooth. It means you're building the muscle to handle the resistance. Just like in the gym, if it's not heavy, you're probably not getting stronger. Every time you overcome something hard, you earn a new layer of power. And that power isn't just for you. It becomes part of your story. Something you'll carry with you and share with others. The obstacles you face might be deeply personal, but the growth you gain becomes a light that others can follow. That's how impact works. You grow and others grow because of you. So the next time life gets hard, don't automatically ask, oh, why me? Try asking, oh, what can I learn from this? It's 10, what can I learn from this? Or, who am I becoming through this? That shift in mindset alone can change everything. It doesn't mean you won't feel the pain. It just means you won't be owned by it. You'll feel it, learn from it, and move forward with even more clarity and conviction. Obstacles aren't roadblocks. They're invitations. They invite you to step up, to dig deep, to evolve. And growth is never one size fits all. For some, it's about learning to speak up. For others, it's about learning to listen. For some, it's about taking risks. For others, it's about learning patience. Whatever your path is, the obstacles you face are uniquely designed to stretch you where you need it most. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to be brave enough to keep going, even when it's hard. Growth doesn't ask for perfection. It asks for persistence. Keep showing up. Keep learning. Keep evolving. Because no matter what life throws your way, one thing remains true. The obstacle may be inevitable, but so is your growth. There comes a moment when the silence around you gets loud. When everything feels still, not in a peaceful way, but in a way that makes you realize no one's coming. No one is knocking on your door with all the answers. No one is suddenly showing up to fix the mess, soothe the pain, or hand you the opportunity you've been praying for. And in that moment, raw and unfiltered, you realize the only person who can truly save you is staring back at you in the mirror. You are your own rescue plan. This isn't something you learn when things are going great. It's something you realize when life hits you so hard, you start questioning everything you believed about safety, about support, about fairness. You ask yourself, where is everybody? But the truth is, people are dealing with their own battles. Life moves on. And though that may sound harsh, it's also a powerful reminder. Because the moment you stop expecting someone to save you, you unlock something extraordinary, your own agency. It's not about being alone. This isn't about cutting people off or rejecting help when it's offered. This is about ownership. This is about knowing that while love and support are beautiful, they are not guarantees. Your strength cannot be borrowed. Your future cannot be outsourced. Your healing, your breakthrough, your success, that's yours to claim, yours to fight for. We live in a world that constantly pushes the narrative of waiting. Wait for the right time. Wait for someone to believe in you. Wait for the perfect moment to begin. But time doesn't owe you anything, and neither does anyone else. If you keep waiting for someone to validate your worth, you'll be waiting forever. You have to move. You have to decide. You have to become the person who doesn't just wish for change. You make it happen. Being your own rescue plan means showing up when it's hard. It means waking up and pushing forward, even when motivation is nowhere to be found. It's about discipline. It's about building the kind of internal stability that doesn't collapse just because things didn't go your way. It's the mindset that says, I may not have all the answers today, but I'm committed to figuring it out. No one is born with resilience. It's built brick by brick, setback by setback. Every time you pick yourself up, you're reinforcing your own foundation. You start learning to rely on your ability to adapt, to think critically, to keep going even when you're scared. That's the real flex. Not pretending to have it all together, but knowing that whatever happens, you'll handle it. Being your own rescue plan isn't about becoming emotionally numb or pretending you don't need anyone. It's about emotional maturity. It's about being able to stand still in chaos and say, okay, this is what it is. What do I do next? It's shifting from panic to purpose. It's replacing blame with responsibility. Not because everything is your fault, but because your response is your power. It's easy to wait for a sign, a stroke of luck, a big break. But while you're waiting, someone else is building. Someone else is learning, practicing, applying, failing, learning again, and moving. They aren't more talented than you, they're just moving. That's the difference. The people who succeed aren't always the smartest or the luckiest. They're the ones who kept going. They're the ones who realized early on that no one was going to carry them. So they laced up their own shoes and started walking. Let's get one thing clear. Being your own rescue plan is not a one-time declaration. It's a daily decision. It's waking up and deciding again and again to bet on yourself, to try one more time, to believe that your effort still matters even when the results are slow. It's the kind of decision that doesn't look like much on the outside, but inside, it's fire, it's momentum, it's the beginning of transformation. And yes, there will be days you don't feel strong. There will be moments you break. That's part of it. Strength isn't about never falling. It's about choosing to rise again, even when your legs are shaking, even when your heart is tired, even when no one else understands how hard it's been for you. The fact that you've made it this far, that alone means you've already been your own rescue plan in more ways than you've realized. There's so much power in taking control of your narrative, in not letting your past define your future, in not letting a mistake, a heartbreak, a detour convince you that you're unworthy. You are allowed to outgrow old versions of yourself. You are allowed to evolve. But evolution doesn't happen by accident. You have to decide that you're worth the effort. You have to believe that where you're going is bigger than where you've. The truth is, no one knows your dreams the way you do. No one feels your hunger. No one understands your pain, your past, or your passion like you do. And because of that, no one is better equipped to lead you forward. You've walked with your own wounds. You've survived nights where your own voice was the only comfort. You've pulled yourself back from the edge more times than you can count. That makes you powerful. That makes you capable. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to feel unprepared. But it's not okay to stay stuck just because it's easier. Growth starts with a decision. You don't have to have the whole staircase mapped out. Just take the first step. Invest in yourself. Learn, unlearn, show up, try, fail, try again. That's what it looks like to be your own rescue plan. Not a grand gesture, but a million quiet choices that stack up to something unshakable. Your circumstances may not be your fault, but they are your responsibility. And that shift from victim to leader in your own life is what will change everything. When you stop waiting to be rescued, you start becoming unstoppable. Because the one thing life can never take from you is your ability to choose, your ability to act, your ability to rise. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be willing. Willing to do the work, willing to take the hits, willing to grow. That willingness, that's what makes the difference. That's what makes you dangerous to doubt. That's what makes you undeniable. Because in the end, nobody saves you. You save yourself, not all at once, not without scars, but piece by piece, choice by choice, day by day, dot. Everyone loves the sound of dreaming big. It's bold. It's exciting. It looks amazing on vision boards and Instagram captions. A dream big is one of those phrases that gets thrown around like confetti. But what people don't talk about enough is the second part. The part that actually makes those dreams come to life, the work. Not just working hard, working relentlessly, working with intention. Working with focus, grit, and a fire that doesn't burn out every time things get hard. Dream big, yes. But work even bigger. A dream without action is just a fantasy. It's a wish, a spark with no fuel. And here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Big dreams demand bigger sacrifices. You want the stage, the spotlight, the title? You better be willing to put in the hours when no one's clapping for you. You want to change the game? First, you have to master it. You want to build something legendary. Be prepared to build through rejection, through failure, through self-doubt, and through moments where giving up feels easier than holding on. There's nothing wrong with dreaming big. In fact, it's necessary. But it's not enough to just want something. You have to work for it like it's already yours. You have to wake up every single day and ask yourself, what am I doing today that brings me closer to the life I imagine? And then you do it. whether you feel like it or not. That's what separates dreamers from doers. That's the difference between potential and achievement. It's easy to dream when everything's going right, when you're inspired, well rested, supported, and confident. But big work kicks in when all those things fall apart, when the path isn't clear, when the motivation runs dry, when the world tells you it's not going to happen for someone like you. That's the moment you either prove them right or you show them who you are. People will call your dreams unrealistic. They'll say you're doing too much, that you should slow down, that you're aiming too high. Let them talk. While they're making excuses, you're making moves. Let your discipline be louder than their doubts. Let your actions speak for you. Because you don't owe anyone an explanation for wanting more. You just owe yourself the chance to go get it. And while we're on it, working bigger doesn't mean just being busy. This isn't about hustle culture. This is about meaningful work, strategic work, smart, consistent, purpose driven work that brings your dream closer one step at a time. It's not about staying up all night for the sake of it. It's about what you're building during those hours, what skills you're sharpening, what value you're creating, what habits you're forming. Sometimes the biggest work is internal. It's fixing your mindset. It's rewriting the stories you've been told about what you can and can't do. Silencing the voice that says, "Who do you think you are?" and replacing it with one that says, "Watch me." Big dreams require you to think differently, act differently, live differently. They don't survive in comfort zones, they thrive in courage. Working bigger also means being willing to fail over and over again. Because failure isn't the opposite of success, it's part of it. Every person who ever made their dream real has a list of failures longer than you can imagine. The difference is they didn't stop. They didn't let it define them. They used it. They studied it. They got better because of it. That's the mindset that gets you places. You don't need to have everything figured out to begin. You just need to begin. Start with what you have. Start with where you are. Use the resources you've got. Do what you can and then do more. Dreaming big gives you the vision. Working bigger gives you the reality. Because the dream doesn't show up at your door, you have to chase it, hunt it down, build it piece by piece. Even when it feels like nothing's happening, you'll be tempted to quit, to think it's taking too long, to look at other people and wonder why it's happening faster for them. Don't. Stay in your lane. Run your race. Keep your eyes on the mission, not the distractions. Because your dream is unique. Your timing is your own. What's meant for you won't pass you by, but only if you keep showing up for it. When you work bigger, you start thinking long term. You stop looking for quick wins and start planting seeds that grow into something powerful. You stop asking, "How fast can I get there?" and start asking, "How solid can I build this?" You stop chasing hype and start building legacy. That's a different level of ambition. That's not just dreaming big. That's becoming the kind of person who can handle the dream once it arrives. You also learn to respect the process. So you stop rushing and you start learning. You fall in love with the discipline, with the details, with the progress that happens in private. You realize that what people see on the outside is just a sliver of what you've done on the inside. They'll applaud your success, but they won't know about the early mornings, the late nights, the days you push through fear, doubt, and exhaustion. And that's okay. You're not doing it for the applause. You're doing it because something inside you refuses to settle. There's a version of you out there, bold, unshakable, fulfilled, and free. That version exists on the other side of the work. Not just the dream, but the grind. Not just the idea, but the execution. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, action over comfort, progress over perfection, you're getting closer. You're becoming that person. Don't wait for perfect timing. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait until you feel ready. You'll never feel fully ready for the kind of life you've never lived before. That's the point. The dream is supposed to scare you, but the work, that's what gives you courage. That's what gives you proof. That's what turns fear into momentum. You have a dream inside you that isn't there by accident. It's calling you, it's challenging you, it's daring you to rise. And it won't come easy, but nothing worth having ever does. So don't just dream big, work bigger. Because in the end, it's not the dreamers who change the world. It's the ones who are willing to sweat for it. There's something powerful about a person who wants more, but doesn't need to prove it to anyone. Someone who carries the fire of ambition in their chest and yet walks with their feet firmly on the ground. That's what it means to stay hungry and stay humble. It's not a cliche. It's a mindset. A way of living that creates champions who aren't just successful, but respected, grounded, and unshakable. Staying hungry is about never getting too comfortable. It's about pushing yourself even after you've crossed milestones. It's understanding that no matter how far you've come, there's always more to learn, more to do, more ways to grow. Hunger isn't greed, it's drive. It's refusing to let yesterday's win make you lazy today. It's the fuel that wakes you up before the world and keeps you going long after others have stopped. People often confuse hunger with desperation, but real hunger isn't loud, it's quiet, focused, strategic. It's the inner voice that tells you there's more in you, that you haven't reached your peak. That you're capable of better, deeper, greater things. Hunger means you're in love with the process, not just the prize. You're not just chasing success, you're chasing mastery, chasing impact, chasing meaning. But hunger without humility is dangerous. It turns into arrogance, entitlement. It makes you think the rules don't apply to you, that your success makes you better than others, that you've already arrived. That's when growth stops. That's when people stop learning, stop listening, stop evolving. Because the truth is, the moment you think you know it all, you've already lost. Humility is what keeps you teachable. It keeps you grounded, real, human. It reminds you that every expert was once a beginner, that every success story had help along the way, that no one does it alone. It reminds you that while your hard work matters, timing, luck, and grace often play a part too. It's knowing you can be proud of yourself and still recognize the value in others. When you stay humble, you understand that leadership is about lifting others, not standing above them. It's about using your platform to make space, not take space. It's the quiet confidence that doesn't need to scream, the kind that's earned, not performed. People gravitate toward that kind of energy because it's real, it's steady, it doesn't crack under pressure or turn bitter with success. Humility makes you resilient because when things go wrong, and they will, you don't see it as the end, you see it as a lesson. You don't get caught up in blame. You take ownership. You reflect, recalibrate, and rise. That's what separates people who stay successful from those who burn out. They don't think they're above falling, so they're always ready to get back up. The beautiful thing is, hunger and humility feed each other. Hunger keeps you moving. Humility keeps you aligned. Hunger pushes you to reach higher. Humility reminds you to reach back and lift others with you. Hunger demands that you don't waste your potential, and humility demands that you don't waste your character. Together, they create a life that's not only high achieving but deeply fulfilling. There's something magnetic about people who have big goals and small egos. They don't walk into rooms trying to prove their worth. They walk in knowing who they are and what they bring without needing applause. And those are the people who go far, not because they're the loudest, but because they're the most consistent, the most respected, the most real. When you're hungry, you show up differently. You don't wait for permission. You don't wait for the perfect time. You move, you prepare, you practice. You show up again and again, even when it's hard, even when no one's watching. But when you're humble, you do it without expecting praise, without needing validation. You do it because it's who you are, not because it'll get you a round of applause. In a world obsessed with clout and comparison, staying hungry and humble is a quiet rebellion. It's saying no to shortcuts and yes to the long game. It's building your foundation solid and deep so that whatever you build on top of it stands strong. It's about keeping your eyes on your own paper, doing your own work, and not letting ego cloud your vision. You don't have to shout about your progress when you're confident in your purpose. You don't have to flex your wins when your work speaks for itself. And when you're really hungry and humble, you don't just celebrate your wins, you honor the losses too, because they taught you something no win ever could. Being hungry means you're not satisfied with average. You're not here to just get by. You want to create, contribute, and leave a mark. Being humble means you know that your value doesn't come from titles, followers, or applause. It comes from who you are when no one's looking. It comes from how you treat people, how you respond to failure, how you carry yourself when life gets real. It's easy to be humble when you're starting out, and it's easy to be hungry when you've got something to prove. But the real test is whether you can stay hungry when you start winning and stay humble when the world starts clapping. That's when character is revealed. That's when you find out who you really are. Staying hungry and humble isn't just a mindset. It's a lifelong practice. It's checking your ego at the door every day. It's being willing to keep learning even when you're considered the best. It's being willing to start over, to get uncomfortable, to do the work no one sees. It's the discipline of choosing growth over glory, substance over image, values over vanity. You may outgrow jobs, roles, titles, and spaces, but don't outgrow your hunger. Don't outgrow your humility. Let those two things evolve with you, guide you, anchor you. Let them shape how you lead, how you love, how you live. Because when you're hungry, you'll chase purpose. And when you're humble, you'll never lose it. There comes a moment in everyone's life when silence feels heavier than words. When staying quiet feels like a betrayal of yourself, of someone else, of something bigger. And in that moment, your voice becomes your weapon, your shield, your truth. Even if it shakes, even if your heart races, even if every part of you wants to retreat into the comfort of not being seen or heard, you must speak up. Because speaking up isn't just about sound. It's about ownership. It's about standing in your story, claiming your space and refusing to disappear. It's about breaking cycles of fear, of silence, of injustice. When you speak up, you disrupt the narrative that says you should sit down and stay small. You challenge the idea that your opinion doesn't matter, that your experience isn't valid, that your voice isn't powerful enough. But let's be honest, speaking up is hard, especially when you're not used to it, especially when you were taught to stay quiet, to be agreeable, to avoid confrontation, to not make waves. Especially when you've seen what happens to people who speak out, how they're questioned, doubted, mocked, or silenced. That fear is real. And so is the courage it takes to do it anyway. You don't have to be fearless to speak up. You just have to be brave for one moment. Long enough to say what needs to be said. Long enough to let your truth breathe. Long enough to show yourself and others that your voice matters. Even when it trembles. Especially when it trembles. Because trembling means you care. It means your words carry weight. It means you're alive, human, and invested. There will be times when your voice feels too small. When you're convinced no one will listen or that nothing will change. But the power of your voice isn't measured by the volume of the room. It's measured by the integrity of what you're saying. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is speak when no one expects you to. Sometimes all it takes to shift the energy in a space is one honest sentence, one clear boundary, one undeniable truth. Your voice is a tool, one of the most powerful you have. It's how you set boundaries, express ideas, challenge injustice, advocate for others, ask for help. Say no, say yes, tell your story, share your dreams, and hold people accountable. If you don't use it, someone else will speak for you. Someone else will write your narrative. Someone else will decide what matters, who matters, and what gets left out. And your silence, it won't always protect you. In fact, sometimes silence is compliance. Sometimes it's misunderstood as agreement. And sometimes it slowly chips away at until you don't recognize yourself anymore. You start shrinking, tiptoeing around the truth, avoiding discomfort, until the discomfort becomes a constant weight in your chest. That's not peace, that's suppression. That's suppression. Speaking up doesn't always mean standing on a stage or posting on social media. Sometimes it's just telling a friend how you really feel. Sometimes it's setting a boundary with someone you love. Sometimes it's reporting something that isn't right, even when it's risky. Sometimes it's raising your hand in class. Sometimes it's asking the question no one else wants to ask. All of it matters. All of it is brave. There's something radical about choosing your voice in a world that benefits from your silence. There's something healing about finally saying the thing you've been holding back. There's something revolutionary about telling your story in your own words. And here's the truth. Someone needs to hear it. Someone needs to see you speak so they can believe they can too. You don't know who's watching, who's learning from your courage, who's drawing strength from your strength, It's okay if your voice shakes. That just means you're doing something real, something raw, something that matters. And with time, the more you speak up, the steadier your voice will become. Not because fear disappears, but because your confidence grows. Because you start to believe in your own right to be heard. Because you start to see the impact your words can have, not just on others, but on you. Because when you speak up, you claim your identity. You show up for your values. You take responsibility for your truth. You stop hiding. You stop apologizing for your existence. And in that act of courage, you become more yourself than ever before. You become unshakable, not because you're invincible, but because you're authentic. And there's nothing stronger than that. Speaking up also teaches you something about power, not the kind that dominates or controls, but the kind that liberates, the kind that uplifts, the kind that creates space for others to speak too. Because when you use your voice, you often unlock someone else's. When you go first, others find the strength to follow. And suddenly your one shaking voice becomes a ripple, a movement, a change. And yes, there will be people who don't want to hear you, people who will dismiss, minimize, interrupt, or ignore. But that doesn't mean your voice doesn't matter. It means they're not ready to listen. That's on them, not you. Your job is not to make everyone comfortable. Your job is to speak your truth with clarity and integrity, even when it's inconvenient, even when it challenges the norm, even when it costs you something. Because the cost of staying silent is often greater than the risk of speaking. The regret of not saying something can echo longer than the discomfort of speaking up. And every time you choose silence out of fear, the harder it becomes to break it. But every time you choose to speak, even just a little, you're building strength, you're building trust in yourself, you're building a habit of courage. So the next time your voice starts to shake, let it. Let it shake, let it quiver, let it break if it has to. But don't hold it in, don't swallow your truth. Don't pretend you're okay when you're not. Don't let fear write the script for your life. Open your mouth, say the thing, ask the question, share the idea, speak the truth. Your voice deserves to be heard, not later, not someday, but now. You don't have to speak perfectly. You just have to speak honestly. Let your words come from the heart. Let them be messy if they need to be. Let them be vulnerable. Because vulnerability is not weakness, it's strength, it's human. And in a world full of noise, your voice, your real, unpolished, heartfelt voice is exactly what we need more of. Speak up, even if your voice shakes. Especially then, because that's when it's most real, most powerful, most needed, not just for others, but for yourself.